Engineer GD, the secretary, our mother, board of trustees, our leader, Hajia Inna Chiroma. Like I said, you are welcome to this auspicious occasion. The beginning to the end will make useful for working on the crossroads and of assembly.
Calabar municipality in crossroads. To listen to our leader, the president in waiting of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Waziri Atiku. You play a very, very strategic role in the way to the 2023 elections. We believe we want to work with you, partner with you, and chart a course, believing sincerely that we all are committed to the unity, stability, progress of this country. I don't have to reiterate the failures we have encountered in the last couple of years, especially in the last 7 years or thereabouts, where we have had power in the hands of the APC. The recent events clearly confirm that they have no clue to the challenges of Nigeria. The problems we have now, we have tested, experienced, matured, fatherly person who can provide us the leadership to get out of this problem at this point in time. My colleague has already spoken peripherally about the issue of zoning. I don't want to bore you with that. We are not abandoning or discarding zoning totally. We are only saying we are in a very peculiar, serious situation. Nigeria has never been as divided as it is. And we cannot build on a divided home. We must bring the country together. And the unifier that we have is unproven amongst all those that have appeared on the firmament is Waziri Atiku Abubakar. We have looked at the level of insecurity in the country. We have no doubt whatsoever that the policies which will soon be unveiled and the direction will be going, the clearest and resolution of the challenges we have is contained in the vision and the mission of Waziri Atiku Abubakar. We are looking at the economy. His proven track record in business is unassailable. We have to capitalize and develop on that and bring his wealth of experience. He wants to bring back smile to every home and into our faces and our minds. We need you. We solicit your support. We want you to be the ambassadors. Back home, you are representatives of the grassroots people. And we want to extend a hand of fellowship, a hand of friendship to you all, that we join hands together to build one united, one prosperous Federal Republic of Nigeria. You are most sincerely welcome, and God will allow us to live here with a pact to work together to ensure that Nigeria is salvaged from 2023. But before I sit down, let me remind you that there are various other persons that have come up who say that they want to also provide leadership. We have no problem with anybody wanting to provide leadership. In the discussions you have had so far, we have not insulted anybody. We have not brought down anybody. All that we are just saying, let us all join hands to make Nigeria better. Have this behind your mind. Those that are insulting, those that are abusing, definitely is out of desperation or lack of confidence in their ability to provide the leadership Nigeria so greatly needs now. Welcome. God bless you.
Thank you very much. I now call on Senator Atiku.
Honestly, I feel highly honored for you to have accepted the invitation and finding time to be here with us today. This is shows how passionate you people are about this country. At the moment, this country is at a crossroads. Nigeria is bleeding, and we should look at how we can rescue this country. It's not about somebody from a certain part of this country. It is about Nigeria who can rescue us. We all know the pain we are going through. And I know that every Nigerian is looking at PDP. We now have it. It's just for us to go and take it. But if we make a mistake of bringing our personal interest in this issue, we lose it. And once it's lost to PDP, it will be difficult for us to regain power in this country. Therefore, we must think seriously, think about our country, think about our future, and look at someone who has the capacity, someone who has the experience, someone who is a true leader. I served under him, and I know the type of person His Excellency is. Therefore, we are appealing to Nigerians, especially the young Nigerians and the women. The pain we are going through today, the women were the greatest, we are suffering this pain more than any other person because it's our children, our husbands that are being kidnapped, that are being killed. Today I can't go to Kaduna. If I want to go to Kaduna, I cannot. How do I do? Therefore, our leaders at the state level, we are appealing to you to discard personal interest, to discard any other interest that is dividing our country. Our country needs to be united. How do you get united? That is, look at somebody who is a unifier. Dr. Baraka has said it all. We need somebody who has the knowledge, he has the capacity, and he has been there. Therefore, my appeal to you, gentlemen and ladies, is for us to think Nigeria first. Nigeria first. That is what we should think of. Because when we go to London, we don't want to come back. You go to Paris, you don't want to come back. Why? Because of their development, because of what they have. And Nigeria should be at that level at this moment. But we have lost it. Therefore, we need to rescue our country. And may God Almighty bless us all. And may God show us the right direction. Let us vote His Excellency. Let us present him as our candidate. And once we present him as our candidate, Nigerians will vote for him. Because it has been done before. We will get it by God's grace. Thank you very much. And that's what I bless us. Thank you.
Let's see my incoming president come 2023. I stand on all established protocol. And when I look across everybody seated here, I have heard about people, the young ones saying the old men are dominating them. But when we look at this crowd seated here, if I take an average age, I don't think I'll go below 45. And that shows the power all of us have together in this forthcoming election. It is our decision to choose who will rescue this country for us. And I don't have any other option. It is very difficult to see a man at this level to volunteer to rescue Nigeria for your sake. It is not for his sake. The service is promised and I'm coming to render. It is not for his sake. We all know how established he is. If he says let him sit in his comfort zone, I don't think the success he has gained in his life, he will exhaust it. And all his children will not even exhaust it. So that particular compromise that he has accepted to offer himself is a great sacrifice. So we all should be grateful to him. Are we all grateful? Yes. Are we all grateful? Yes. It's a good sacrifice. And the good thing to talk about, we've had several comments about capacity. I have been privileged to work with so many people at different levels. But when you talk of a man with the highest level of cerebral attention, you're talking of Atiku. I cannot boast that I will see a man of his age that has the level of cerebral attention he has. If any of you have had privilege and opportunity to sit with him for a discourse, it will not take 2 minutes. He will pick up pen and paper and take notes what you're saying to him. Some of the people that are sitting in that seat, to even write is difficult. We know that one. True or false? So, we are talking of who will rescue Nigeria. If you talk about the best headhunter, let me tell you about administration. What makes you a good leader is the ability to assemble a team that will work with you. If you're talking about the best headhunter in political leadership, in political mentorship, we have no any other person to reference other than Atiku Abubakar. So Dr. Bracken mentioned how he drew ABC into the government. We know their names, and today they are shining stars across the globe. If you did not give them the opportunity, they would not be where they are today. And I'm assuring you, with him as a headship, he will still draw more bright brains that will rescue this country. It's not a one-man assignment for him, but he has the capacity to assemble the team, able and capable team that will do that. It could be you that he will call. It could be you, we don't know. But we are here to provide the assignment. And that is what we need. So I will call on all of us to look beyond any other sentiment. Political decisions are drawn with every sentiment. We should look beyond every other sentiment and tell ourselves the truth. In a time like this, who can do this? We know the current war going on in Ukraine. They will not send riffraff into the war front. They are sending generals. What should PDP do? Are we going to joke with a man that has gained over 20 million votes? It's a guaranteed vote. If you remember the coalition that led to the formation of APC, to choose Buhari, it was just because Buhari has maybe 7-8 million votes. And we are talking of a man who has exceeded that at 12 million votes, and people are still doubting. You don't reinforce failure, you reinforce success. All the people that are saying they are running, they are contesting, none has ever been a candidate. Not to talk of that. It is always aspiring. We are talking of a candidate. Running primaries and running general elections, going around the 36 states is not a joke. I'm a living witness. Atiku Abubakar is an institution. Let all of us come together and be part of that institution and rescue Nigeria. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much. I now call on Engineer G.
Rescue Nigeria. Igbo kwenu? Yeah. Undi Abba kwenu? Yeah. No. Obineo. Ekabo. Our meeting today is the most important meeting because the houses of assembly members are the closest to the grassroots. So when we win your heart, we have won the whole Nigeria. And I want to assure you, God is making Nigeria a brand new nation. How many of you will have a brand new limousine and you give a learner? How many of you? You have to give an experienced driver. And you cannot be boasting that you have experience unless you experience. You don't get the experience from book. You acquire it. Atiku Abubakar has acquired experience. He has known what federal government is all about. He has ruled before. He has motivated young men and recruited them to governance, including somebody like me, a Yoruba man, a Christian. He is a man that is highly untribalized. I hear some people say it's detribalized. A detribalized person is a tribalized man who you convince to be detribalized. But he is an untribalized man. He's not a religious bigot. Anywhere you see him, you see all sorts of people, but sensible people. Nigeria will not make a mistake for having him as president and commander-in-chief of armed forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's an embodiment of encouragement. He has encouraged a lot of us. A poor man like me, working in Gongola and Adamawa State as a civil servant, and he discovered me. I said, enough, 20 years you have stayed there is enough, come to federal. And that is how I became a federal civil servant. And today I am a retired Director General. That is the man. You will never regret having him as president. He's not a lazy man, mentally sound. He's not a dollar. He's not in the group of I doesn't know. I doesn't aware.
And the problem of the problem.
He is a problem solver.
I assure you.
He is not, I assure you, every time. He is going to make it for us. You will never regret supporting Atiku Abubakar. He's a father, he's a mentor, he's everything good that you can think of him. I want to appeal to you. When you go home, please begin to tell people about Atiku Abubakar. God wants to make Nigeria a brand new country. And we need an experienced driver to drive us around. Atiku Abubakar is the brand experienced new driver that Nigeria needs now. The darkest hour of the night is close to the morning. Nigeria is at its darkest hour, and we are not going into the morning. I don't want us to go into the morning. Morning is the only one that will not make us to mourn. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And we all desire, to take over from the ruling governing party. But you all think that because the governing party has done so badly, that it's going to be rejected at the courts. Don't take that for granted. If you observe their last convention, you know that we have a Herculean task. Because we all thought they were even never going to ever conduct a convention. We all thought people were not even going to turn up. But we saw people turn up. And we saw they had a hitch-free convention, even though it was absolutely undemocratic. Because the Constitution says, even where you have one candidate, there must be a vote. The Constitution of Nigeria says, even if you have one candidate, even all of us in Nigeria will say we only want one person. We must vote. But you saw they never voted. They just announced consensus. This shows you their determination to cling on to power. And therefore, if we really want to take over power from them, we have to be extraordinarily united, strong, and present a formidable candidate. I bet you if we make the mistake of losing the election next time, maybe PDP will fizzle out. So I want you to take that into consideration. Last night, I was with a young man, whom first of all, he is from the Niger Delta, whom I first helped to become a state assembly member. Later he became a speaker. Later he became a commissioner. Later. And last night he said, you helped me all this way. Now you have to help me to become a governor. I said, no problem. Just make sure you remain on course. Now, whoever tells you that politics is not a career is not telling you the right thing. It is a career. You can be in the legislature, and you can also be in the executive. We have seen Biden, who spent 40 years in the House of Reps and the Senate, eventually becoming the President of the United States. So, honorable members, you have a very, very important role to play. Yes, at the moment you are honorable members and your respective state assemblies. And as you know, in a democracy, like Senator Abdul Ningi said, there is no way you can have democracy without the legislature. And if you want to have an effective and meaningful legislature, you must introduce a system of continuity, not necessarily a democratic system of continuity like sometimes our governors do, but a system of continuity where members acquire experience, know, legislation, business, and so on and so forth. So you are very, very critical in our democratic process. And in that process, you also provide leadership from your respective constituencies through the constituencies up to the state level and at the national level. If you are not going to be relevant at the national level, we would not have invited you all the way from your respective states to come here. Not only we appreciate, you are accepting to come, even though again we are going to follow you to your respective states if the time permits, but that is how critical your positions and your participation in our democratic system. So we thank you for that. Then the next issue is you are sitting in a center that I helped establish 20 years ago. And named it after the person who recruited me into politics. I was in Abuja here in my office. After he came and interacted with me, he said, look, young man, I want to start politics because we have to return democracy to Nigeria. Yes, he was a military man, but he came from a political family. And I looked at him and looked at him. I said, okay, give me time to think. After a few months, I put in my retirement letter. I did not even wait to do 3 months. I paid 3 months' salary and I retired. And we started the struggle to return this country to democracy. That was the first struggle. And he was such a very, very strategic and organized young officer himself. When he put us together, we represented all the states. I think he picked one from each state. And the first sermon he gave us, he said, look, we are beginning a struggle that may take us 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to achieve what we want to achieve. He said some of us may not even see what we want to achieve. He says, therefore, if there are those of you who are in a hurry, look at the door. You can go out and leave those who are prepared. And some left, and left us with him. He was one of those who never survived to see the return of democracy. He gave his life because Abacha killed him. Abacha tried to kill me too. So when I became vice president and I went to the United States and I visited the King Center, we all read about Martin Luther King, the civil rights leader in the United States. And I was taken to the King Center. I went around and so on and so forth. So I came back, I said, look, I will build a center after my political mentor. I told my boss. And President Obasanjo said, go ahead. So I gathered friends and we contributed money. We designed this center. We named, the drive, Memorial Drive. And we built this center. But again, one thing I remember was that when he started preaching to us, he was always telling us, he said, look, let's build bridges across this country. Let's break away the siege mentalities that the various parts of this country has been put under. Let's build bridges across the country. So that was why when we were building the center, we built an uncompleted bridge. And you go out. That's the meaning of that uncompleted bridge. Honorable members, I want you to join me in completing this bridge. Let's break away from those people who want to keep us in one part of the country fighting each other. Let's break away and build bridges and build one country, one people. That's my appeal for you and my appeal to you. And therefore, please let me have your support in the forthcoming presidential primaries. I promise I shall not disappoint you. Thank you very much. God bless you.
I think maybe we deserve to honor him with for his jolly good fellow,
for his jolly good fellow, for his jolly good fellow, and so say all of us.
When you cut off someone's ear, the person can hear properly. The ear that is cut off. Only that you cannot hang it to mistake. So, Excellency, the message you just passed to us now, it's not just because of you. We just to just it. I'll turn it as a redemption message. You are doing all these things for us. So we can queue behind you and make a successful living. So Nigeria will be better again. When my brother and my mentor, the civil senator, was addressing us, there was a place he derailed. He was saying that when you go to Northwest, about 5 states, if I'm mistaken, 7. It's not possible. Nobody will go there. That place is hooked up with criminal activities. We didn't mention Anambra State because you get Anambra. Yeah. We are told that we are losing about 5 local governments to this place also. We are not certain. So we need somebody that will come and rescue us. So what I will pray today for His Excellency is that may Allah grant you your heart desire. Amen. You meant well for this country, and that your ship that is on voyage will definitely land on a very successful terrain in Jesus' name. On behalf of all of us, we are wishing you success. Thank you, sir.
His Excellency and fellow colleagues, we want to thank you on behalf of the other state delegates. We want to thank you for inviting us for this interaction and consultation. Already we have agreed with ourselves that any presidential aspirant that does not interact with us one-on-one, that we are not going to support the president. But we thank God today that we are here with you. We have listened to you, We know you have the capacity and the courage to do all those things. We know. Even those people who are contesting with you are aware that you have the courage and capacity to deliver this country. We are aware of that. So my appeal is for you to deepen your discussion, deepen your consultation with the people of Southeast. We know we have a peculiar problem. We will not continue saying that because there are so many things to this leadership. It is not presidency alone. No Igbo has been PA chairman or MD. So many other things, not the president. But what we are saying in essence is continue and deepen your discussion with our people. Continue. For some of us who are here, we are already converts. We supported you in 2019. We supported you. And by special grace of God, we will also be there for you. We pray that God will lead you. God will help you conclude this process. Then we are crying. Nigeria is like a dead area. But we know, by special grace of God, you are going to rescue us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. We have from Imo State, Honorable Philip Ejovu.
Potentials and grow them. And for that fact, just like Madam said, Nigeria is at the turn where we should start zoning to capacity, zoning to capability, and zoning to people that have the willpower to change this country. And so, I am going to take this message home to Imo State. I am going to be an ambassador of this project, His Excellency. I am going to make sure that we will send this news back home and make sure we all key into this project. Thank you, His Excellency.
You are the only president candidate in PDP. You are president candidate in PDP because someone that are contesting with you is either be governor or senator or all these things. Where you are number 2 before I pray will become number 1 2023. So I don't need to say much about you because I have known you since we started this party in 1998. I was part of people who led the Ondo State team with our late Atiku during that period. Sir, what Agari Motorbesi have said about you today, I don't need to go back because you always say in television every day. So just all what I just say now is an invitation. Sir, I have 2 things to tell you, sir. Number 1, what happened to us in the last election? I want to ask from your Excellency, because all Nigeria know that you won the election. But have you been prepared against this task of thing not to occur in the next election, particularly in 2023? Because the way the APC, I think we must have our own plan B against what happened to us in the last election that we won, in order not to repeat itself. That's number 1, sir. Number 2, the second problem, thank God we invited a lot of assembly members here. After national and presidential election, they used to abandon us when our election comes. Particularly we that are not from the ruling state and from the doesn't have governors as a ruling governor in our respective state. During our election, the next 2023, sir, I don't want what happened in 2019 for House of Assembly to repeat itself during when it is 2023 election, because those people that used to send to various states are talking about leaders. They never deliver your message as you send them. They never deliver your message as you send them. Because in our last election, when our elections about 3 days ago to go, we were invited to Secretariat in Abuja to come and collect money. On getting there, they gave us 250,000 naira each. I know the money you gave them, it wasn't the money to be what they deliver. Because how can I use 250,000 naira to go and deliver 176 minutes? So, Sir, Your Excellency, as you be preparing for the National Assembly, please remember us in the House of Assembly that want to recompense again. Because That is what led most of the people to go and work with opposition. What I will tell you today. If they see APC that gave them money, they will prefer to go with them. We are talking, all of us know what is, all of us Nigeria is sinking. But some people want it to be continuing sinking. But we that are here, we don't want it to happen. We want the sinking to stop. And you are the one that can stop it. And I pray and let God you continue to lead us as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Waziri, Madamawa, like Atiku, I bring you greetings from Osun State. And of course, I also bring you greetings from my local government, my state constituency. And that's a state constituency that has 3 national officers of our party and 1 former national officer. Distinguished Senator Adenigba Fadamsi is from my local government. And Honorable Wike is from my local government. The present Southwest Chairman, Honorable Sojada Modo, is also from my local government. Then the former Deputy National Publicity Secretary, Honorable Eyemi, is also from my local government. I'm saying all this so you understand that my constituency is for PDP. And of course, Honorable Wike was one that moved the motion when you met with the House of Representatives members. His Excellency, I just want to make 3 points. And very briefly, under 2 minutes or more minutes. Number 1 is that I like, let me call it the campaign slogan now, which is One Nigeria. I so much love it because I believe a house divided against itself will never stand. No matter the level of solutions that we believe we have for Nigeria, education is part of it, but if there's no unity, we cannot achieve a better Nigeria. So I so much love this, Excellency, and this is one of the things making me to believe in this project. Number two point, Your Excellency, is that personally I don't doubt your leadership ability. I don't doubt your integrity because I've seen and read the progress and successes you made in your private practice. And this is a testament that things are going to better with you as president. Number 3 point, His Excellency, please permit me to speak as a Nigerian at this point in time. I belong to a generation that I will call the NSAS generation. 30 years ago, Excellency, we shouted Hope Never. 30 years after, we are still shouting Hope Never. The state of our educational system is in a disarray. I'm aware you know all this, Excellency, but it's a must for me to say it again. There are plethora of negative incidences happening all over our nations. Some just happened some days ago. This is very sad. There's hunger in the land. This is obvious. Your Excellency, I want to ask this question because I believe you have the capacity to answer. And I'm asking this or appealing to say this, not only because of myself, but because of others that belong to the same generation with me, and others that will also be watching this later on. I love your vision, sir. But what assurances can we have that this vision, the kind of politics we play in Nigeria, will not hinder it? As a politician myself, I understand politics could be bottlenecks. The kind of politics, in quotes, that we play can be bottlenecks to achieving a very, very good vision. So what assurances can we have that the kind of politics, because I'm not talking about the primary election now, I'm talking as you, as the president this time around. What assurances can we have that the bottlenecks of the kind of leadership, the kind of politics we play in Nigeria will not hinder this vision? Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
The Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly is in the House. And so I would like to yield the floor to her to present Nigeria.
You don't need much introduction. Right even in my village, there are people who bears Atiku. In my village. It's because of who you are. I don't hear any Buhari. It means you have made a difference. Your Excellency, we from Akwa Ibom State, your other home, we have met them many times, Your Excellency. The other time you came in, I was with you. When they robbed us, we cried. But we have hope. Excellency, you have made a very vital point today. you are not a Christian, but you have an idea that when they want to perpetrate evil, Pilate and Herod, who were enemies, they became friends. That's what happened last week during the convention. They were quarreling. One night, they became friends, so that they can stop us.
Yeah.
It's time for all PDP to wake up. It's time for all of us to be alert, so that they will not rob us again. It's not time for us to fight. It's time for us to unite. We know who you are. We trust you. Your Excellency, Akwa Ibom people don't come behind. We go in front. We are PDP. PDP is our religion. We speak PDP. We dance PDP. Your Excellency, that is who we are in Akwa Ibom. Our members, we went to Paris. We arrived this morning, a few of us. If not so, you would have had 26 of us. I know you will still meet us. I know we will still talk. Excellency, I have a problem. My problem is about my gender. I'm a woman. Excellency, I know you love us. That's why you see all of us when we see you, we smile. Because we know you can take care of us. I know if you were there, my dear sister, Aja wouldn't have been wrong. You know, all of us, we went home that day. We were crying. I prayed. This time around, because the women, when we rise up and join our hands together, something different will happen. If the men didn't do the wash night, well, the women this time, we will wash. We will not just vote, because he will be our president. We will defend. We make sure we ride at the best end, so that Nigeria can enjoy all the goodies, all your goodwill. Excellency, you mean well for us. They are afraid that you will come and save us. They are afraid that we will, you know, when you have slaves, you don't want them to leave bondage. They would like to block you. But I know this time with the prayers of our women, our men, our youths who are killed every day, God will answer us and rescue Nigeria. You will come in as our president, and we will sing the last song, Not in a Strange Land, in our one Nigeria. God bless you.
It's because you impacted on the life of my leader, and that impact got to me. His name is His Excellency Liam Wike. We call him Your Excellency, I have been made to understand that your home is a mini Nigeria. Because it's a mini Nigeria, will be welcomed. If I cannot speak the Hausa language, I can speak the Igbo language. If I can't speak the Igbo language, I can speak the Yoruba language. Therefore, my message will be communicated adequately to you by 3 a.m. Your Excellency, the best time to get the attention of a man is 3 a.m. Your Excellency, we were robbed, and I was sick for some time. Because by the time the results were coming, the control tower had the complete results for the 36 states and Abuja. How does that happen? We were robbed. Your Excellency, commissioner of police then, in 1999, told me a story. He said he was DPO in your place, and his 2 children were getting married. And you sent for him, he came. He said, your 2 children are getting married, where are people going to sit? He said, sir, I will put canopies. You said, no, push it for 3 months. And you did build the house. A man who could do that would be able to run Nigeria with all of our differences. Your Excellency, Cross River State had been your home. Your Excellency, in spite of what we have seen, 7 of us put our foot down. We needed to keep PDP alive in Cross River State. Your Excellency, for 11 months we were not paid. But it didn't matter, because we knew that tomorrow is better than today. Your Excellency, you will win.
Amen.
But we need to get back to the drawing board. Your Excellency, this time women will not wear t-shirts and dance. I have told my leaders, I said we will not wear t-shirts and dance. Your Excellency, your women hold PhDs. Your women are professionals. Your Excellency, the decision to push women in front will give an imperative to the political trajectory of Nigeria. Because when you empower a woman, you empower the whole nation. Your Excellency, with a PhD in my hands, I will not allow my children to become thugs. Therefore, you need to push women. You have done well. We follow your history. It's easily. Because I'm very deliberate on what I say. So that when you post me tomorrow, I'll look you in the eye and say, yes, I say so. Your Excellency, I'm sure you did not go to a private school, but you are one of the best we have. Your Excellency, Yeniwake did not go to a private school. He went to a primary school in Atiku, where he comes from. And it's one of the best Nigeria has. Your Excellency, as you become president by the grace of God, you will look at the public schools. Your Excellency, it's not everybody who can pay the private fees. You need to look down. All of you came from there and Nigeria had the best. It was the farmers who had medical doctors. It was the farmers who had lawyers. It was the farmers who didn't know how to put down their names. Why was that so? Because we had working institutions, working primary schools. Your Excellency, the question of building private schools shouldn't arise again in Nigeria. Can we look at where we are coming from? I know you can do it, because if you run your own, you can do it, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, security is a problem. Your women can't go to farm. You won't be able to give everybody appointments. But Your Excellency, can you look at the women and give them an enabling environment for them to be able to do their farms and put food on the table? Your Excellency, most people were trained by their mothers through their training and farms. And I hear them say, money market, and you give them 20,000 naira on eve of elections. It doesn't make sense. You're giving them so they can vote for you. Your Excellency, they have failed, and they will continue to fail. But we need also, when people are desperate, they grab at every straw. They are in the river, and they are drowning. Therefore, that's why you see that union of devilish individuals. Where you have anacondas, you have all sorts of things. Your Excellency, they do not forgive, they will fight. Your Excellency, they started fighting in the stadium as they finished, or whatever they had their convention. But we're not going to look at that. You will go back. Your Excellency, thank you for giving prime position to the House of Assembly members. Because sometimes they forget us, as my colleagues have said. We do the work, we do the groundwork. Your Excellency, you cannot be in Bogi, I have to be in Bogi for you. And if I'm not empowered, how do you win? Your people are the closest to the grassroots. Your Excellency, we are willing, send us, we will do the work. All we want to come and do 2023 is to come and dance, then it's only then, Your Excellency, we will wear their shield, we will tie the scarves. But sir, we will wear.
Your Excellency, you are a good man. I don't need to talk much about you. In 2002, I was in your home. In fact, I slept with my elder brother. You made me a minister in 1999, and as a lawyer school. Your Excellency, we are 9 members in the State House Assembly, and 8 are here present. And it will be unfair, Your Excellency, if my seniors are here and I'll be making a speech. I want to call the 4th time member of the State House Assembly, Right Honorable Odefa Obasi Odefa.
I'm particularly interested in the emergence as President of Nigeria for 2 reasons. Everybody has said that Atiku Abubakar is a unifier, is the words of our leader, untribalized Nigerian, but they have not explained how. It is easy to say, oh, he married Yoruba or he married an Igbo. That doesn't mean you can even marry a Lebanese or a Singaporean. But for me, I have seen it evident in your children. Because the way to know a man or a woman is to look at the characters and the behavioral attitudes of his or her children, because they will display and manifest the innate disposition of their parents outside. So sometimes last year, I started talking to Mustafa on Twitter, and then he would say, oh, I want to come and greet you in Akure. I said, don't worry, let me come to Yola. So when I got to Yola, when I posted, my wife said, how is that place? I said, Yola feels like home. Because the reception and everything, the way of life and everything, I started taking note. The same thing applies to Muhammad. You go to his house, even if it's 12 a.m., his wife comes out to cook for you, do everything. You can sit down on the floor, the way they interact with people. The same applies to Aliyu, the same applies to Honorable Commissioner. All of them, they blend with all sectors of this country. That shows the parental training that you have given them. So for me, I said, the next president of Nigeria, let's forget about him, we will look at his family. We look at his family, I won't mention him, but we have some very top leaders of APC here. The way their children speak, even on social media, we say these people must not smell as rock. So that is one. And then secondly, the economy. You have a coagulated experience in wealth creation and economic building, especially at this time where the current anchors of our economy are just throwing false and economic statistics from the air that are not in tandem with our economic realities. They will declare huge GDP figures and more than 70% of the country in poverty. How does it correlate? You said the country is developing, that you are recovering money from corrupt people, and then you keep borrowing. Where's the money? So all these things, they said they are running a lean government. You are running a lean government. There are no jobs. They said there's infrastructure. There are no jobs. There cannot be infrastructural development without job creation. It's a simple economics. So that is it. We need somebody that has created and sustained wealth like you. That is 2 reasons. And then my advice, before I go, sir, I've told you in private during our last engagement. I want to repeat it openly, because I want to be on record that I keep hammering on it. You need a town hall meeting, local government by local government. Listen, it's not the one that will come there. It's not the one that will come there. It will be driven by young people that are committed to your projects in that local government. In the southern Nigeria, not the north. Why am I saying this? If anybody tells you, I told you, sir, you know we argued over this for almost an hour. If anybody tells you that the southern people where I'm from
are not agitating for zoning, they are deceiving you. I am a young House of Assembly member in the opposition. We do the work of both chairmen and assembly members, especially those of us that don't have governors from PDP governors here. When our elderly people are sleeping or they are in a meeting, we are on the streets till 2, 3, 4 a.m. with people, sometimes drinking or whatever. We know what we are hearing. We need people, we need to tell them, our people in the South, that the luxury of zoning is not for an opposition party, it is for a ruling party. And that for an opposition party, the most pressing thing or factor is to go to battle with your best soldier to win. Not only to win, but with your best soldier that has the most capacity if he gets there. We must do that. So because we must de-escalate the agitation for zoning at the grassroots. Because if anybody says it's not really in the South, they are not saying the truth. Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Right and wrong.
Particularly standing up because of the peculiar situation of the state and people of Cross River State. Before now, everyone has always known that from the hills of Obamako to the seas of the oceans of Calabar, Bakassi, it is Cross River State is PDP. Until we had the unpleasant experience that took place last year, when the man we suffered for decided to steal our mandate away to the APC. And whereas we would have loved him to go quietly, he decided to bring mayhem on the members of the PDP in the House of Assembly and a few others who wouldn't follow. And so he decided to deny the 7 members of the House of Assembly who decided to stay faithful to the party that gave them authority to be where we are. And I daily commend the efforts of my colleagues who are here, the 7 of us who are here. One of us actually died in the process, Lady Elizabeth Ayoba, and we had an election on the 26th of February that brought in a replacement on Wike. Why I am standing up is because while we are going into this business, we must be able to sit down and identify the peculiarities in the respective states and know what approaches we will be putting in order to get good results. Cross River State is privileged to have had the 3 senators still in PDP. It's very privileged to have a man like Senator Leah Limoke, who's the leader of the PDP family, who has the grace of having us revolve around him. What we truly therefore need to do is to sell the idea of PDP is not a problem in Cross River State, but the resources that are kept by the governor, who uses force here and there, is part of the challenge. And this is one thing we are very sure, that he will be running up here to meet some of you within PDP who are in the ruling class. We would like to make a request that we be guided in the covering and protection we give to you. For to do so is to expose us to more danger and crisis. So beyond where we are now, and in strategizing on how to regain Cross River State fully, which we will do, is for you to please link up strategically with the leadership of Cross River State PDP to design for you a proper and interventionist approach that will buy back Cross River. When my sister in Akwa Ibom boldly said, Akwa Ibom is PDP, my heart bled, because that is how we have always jointly boasted that Akwa Ibom and Cross River, and indeed the Niger Delta, has always been PDP. Where did we commit a crime? So we would like a concerted concentration, a concerted effort in having to help this team that created the nucleus for the survival of PDP, that linked up with the National Assembly, that is giving us the similitude of what we have in PDP in Cross River State today. So I would like to commend this team to you and to say, please let there be a design to link up with us so that our work in the field will be a lot easier than it is in the hour. Thank you very much.
I thought we had crossed this issue. I remember I addressed the speakers of this committee about 2017 or when constitutional amendments were being proposed, how the state legislatures can be financially independent from the governors. I thought, but to my greatest shock, I was told the speakers under the influence of the governors rejected. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Not us, that time.
Well, that time. Yes. Very, very shocking. Because I remember I addressed the speakers there. I told them to make sure that that amendment is approved by the various state assemblies. And by the time it went round, it came back and approved. So, I mean, you are responsible for your own, predicament. And even now, if they bring any constitutional amendment, insert it. Because you are eventually the one who are going to approve it. I see no reason why you should be timid about it. You cannot fight for your rights.
The governor who holds an assent.
I can't believe that. I can't have that type of democracy. Definitely not. That's not what I fought for all these years. Well, all what I know is that I can assure you of my support and cooperation on this issue. Even if the governors don't bring it, I will bring it. Yes. If they don't bring it, then I will call the state assembly speakers and say, look, you better go and approve this. What nonsense is that? The governor will withhold, people's entitlements. For what reason?
11 months.
I thought I should, respond. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.